Greetings from the Act 46 Wyndham Southeast Supervisory Study Committee. I'm Alice Laughlin, the committee chair as well as the chair of the Putney Town School Board. Our study committee has been meeting since November 2015 to figure out how best to prepare for the future of education in our towns. We've written articles of agreement for a merger that allows small schools to stay open, improve educational opportunities, and address the many concerns in our community. We've studied various alternative paths to compliance and determined the best path forward for your consideration, a merger that complies with the requirements of Act 46. Our articles include language regarding school closure, the formation of school leadership councils, board representation, and many other topics. They address our deepest concerns and those of the communities we represent. Our work has been diligent. Tax incentives for merger transitions are only offered through July 1st, 2017, and Act 46 requires a merger of some sort to be in place by July 1st, 2019. If we don't come up with a plan to comply with the law, the state will make decisions for us. If our proposed merger gets the opportunity to be in front of the voters for your consideration, there will be more meetings in each town where you can hear more about what we've worked on and ask us the hard questions. We've created this video to share some of the many key topics that we have studied. Let's start with one we feel really strongly about: keeping our schools open.
The Guilford School Board, like the other towns' boards, came to the Act 46 Study Committee with questions about what would happen under a merger. In Guilford, over the last several years, we've seen financial challenges that affect educational opportunities. Changing how we do things makes sense, but are schools immensely important to our community? Would merging destroy what we've spent so much time to build? Would merging cause our small schools to close? We spent significant time studying this question during the Act 46 consideration process. No one wants small schools to close. Act 46 states, quote, "Vermont recognizes the important role that a small school plays in the social and educational fabric of its community. It is not the state's intent to close small schools, but rather to ensure that those schools have the opportunity to enjoy the expanded educational opportunities and economies of scale that are available to the schools within a larger, more flexible governance model. Merging would allow smaller schools to stay open," end quote. In our study process, we determined this to be true. In fact, the study committee felt so strongly about the importance of keeping small schools open that we incorporated special language into the Articles of Agreement to address the issue. The article requires a supermajority, in this case 7 of the 9 board members, to vote in favor of closing the school.
Act 46 established a multi-year process with incentives for communities that voluntarily merge into the most common governance models. The Act created 3 incentivized phases for voluntary mergers: accelerated mergers, Phase 1, regional education districts known as REDs or RED variations, Phase 2, and conventional mergers, Phase 3. Districts that do not pursue or achieve a voluntary merger under one of the 3 phases are required to evaluate their ability to meet or exceed state goals, to talk with other districts, and to present proposals to the State Board of Education no later than November 30th, 2017. During 2018, the Secretary of Education will develop a proposal, and the State Board will issue a final statewide design that realigns unmerged districts into more sustainable models of governance that meet the state goals. Our study committee started our work by looking at an accelerated 5-town merger, because if that kind of merger was going to ultimately work best, then we wanted to put it before you, the voters, in time to realize the tax benefits for our communities. While studying what a 5-town merger could look like, we took time to look at alternative mergers. We looked at the RED options in a variety of configurations. We looked at side-by-side mergers. We looked at forming a union elementary, as well as a modified union elementary district known as a MUD. We were analyzing 2 things when looking at each alternative merger. We looked at how, and if, a merger would achieve the structural requirements of newly merged districts, such as minimum student counts. And we considered how each merger would protect school districts, particularly our small school districts, from large, sudden tax increases due to declining student populations. We looked to see how educational opportunities could be addressed. There were numerous obstacles to compliance to each of these alternative merger approaches. You can see the two charts that outline all the different options we considered on the WSESU website. The merger we had been looking at most closely, and the one that you might be voting on, was the one that would offer kids the best and the most equitable educational opportunities. Even so, we did another round of looking at the alternatives, which reaffirmed our earlier analysis that the proposed merger offers the best opportunities in the most cost-effective way.
A merged district looks pretty much like what we already have, with some added benefits. I'll give you a few examples. The Articles of Agreement ensure children will go to the same school they are in right now, with the caveat that parents could ask for their child to go to a different school in the unified district. The number changing to a different school would be capped so that no one school is adversely affected. Merging would allow for a child to remain in the same school if the family moved. Right now, if a child moves from, say, Guilford to Brattleboro, they have to leave one school and start all over in another. Right now, only one school has public pre-K. If we merge, this program could be expanded to all of the schools. Right now, teachers are screened by their school principals, with input from teachers and potential parents and board members, and local school boards give ultimate approval. In a merged district, these hirings could be approved by a local leadership council and then sent on to the Unified School Board for final approval. Not one community would have to pay for a large project alone. Schools will be owned by all of us in the Unified District. All expenses for upkeep would then be shared by all of us. Communities would still use their schools just as they do now. If a school is ever closed, which we see as unlikely, the local community could purchase their school building and land back for a total of $1. Additional program costs would be spread across more pupils, making programs more affordable. This applies to the school day as well as the afternoon activities. For example, kids from Putney could be bused to Brattleboro for the afternoon strings program. Kids from Brattleboro could come to Putney for the mountain biking or forest programs.
Under a merger, one unified school board is created. It would operate in many ways like the current Brattleboro Union High School Board does now. Board members would come together to work for what's best for all the kids, not just their own town's kids. The unified board will have 9 school directors. 7 members will be elected from the electorate of the individual towns based on proportional representation. 2 will be elected at large from the combined electorate. 4 of those director positions will be held by eligible Brattleboro town residents, and 1 from each of the surrounding towns, Putney, Guilford, and Dummerston. The 2 at-large school directors can be residents of any of the 4 towns. The leadership councils are an important feature of the proposed merger. They will act a lot like current school boards. These leadership councils actually expand the involvement of parents together with administrators and staff. This does not happen in some of our schools right now. Local connections are made and sustained through parent involvement, community support, and care and concern for our children. Leadership councils will take the place of local school boards in a more collaborative environment. These groups are made up of the representative from the Unified District, the principal, the faculty, the community, parents, and students. There would be a leadership council in every school, and they would have direct local input into the operation of that school. Town meeting discussions will still include discussion about each town's school or schools. In the case of Brattleboro, there will be increased local participation with each school having a leadership council.
Let's look at decreasing enrollment. In 2002, the WSESU had 3,080 students. In 2016, we had 2,390 students. That's 690 fewer students, 22% less in 14 years. Here's a look at just Brattleboro's elementary schools. You can see the trend is down. And here is Dummerston in blue, which did go up slightly, but is still down from 186 to 165. Guilford in yellow down from 212 to 111. Putney in orange down from 224 to 155. And Vernon in gray is down from 228 to 154. Brattleboro Union High School trends the same way as the elementary schools, down from 1,418 students in 2002 to 1,104 students in 2015. In 2005, WSESU schools spent an average of $10,942 per student. The state's average was only $8,974 per student. 10 years later, we are up 45% to $15,875. The state average increased 56% to $14,008. Rising property taxes are straining homeowners. At the same time, throughout the state of Vermont and here at the WSESU, poverty levels are increasing. The state tries to discourage spending by sending a penalty back to towns that pass a budget threshold. Smaller towns have a harder time keeping their budget down than larger towns. A few students less one year could cause a budget to pass the threshold. A merger puts all of our schools in a better position to react to enrollment changes.
Act 46 does not allow choice towns like Vernon to be in the same district as non-choice towns like Brattleboro, Dummerston, Guilford, and Putney. Vernon wants to maintain its 50-plus year history of grades 7 through 12 school choice. So, in August of 2016, Vernon voted in favor of leaving BUHS District 6. This was step one in order to protect school choice for its community. The second step was a vote by the other BUHS District 6 members, Brattleboro, Dummerston, Guilford, and Putney, and was required by state law. That vote happened this past December and passed in every town except for Dummerston. 5% of Dummerston's registered voters have petitioned for a revote on February 21st. If Dummerston votes yes, it will allow Vernon's withdrawal from BUHS District 6. Know that the financial implications of the withdrawal are minimal because Vernon's share of BUHS number 6 assets is equivalent to their corresponding liabilities. If allowed to leave BUHS District 6, Vernon will sign over its share of BUHS District 6 assets to the remaining members. The remaining members of District 6 will forgive Vernon's portion of the debt. The burden of Vernon's debt will then be built into their tuition costs for BUHS and BAMS. Currently, 80% of Vernon students in grades 7 through 12 attend Brattleboro Area Middle School, Brattleboro Union High School, and Wyndham Regional Career Center. Similar levels of attendance by Vernon students are expected after the proposed withdrawal, based on the 50-plus year enrollment history. Vernon would not have a representative on the BUHS District 6 board.
One of the first things the Act 46 Study Committee did was to compare what was offered in each of our schools. Simply put, we just don't offer the same programming in all of our schools. It's difficult to show a correlation between a specific program, say the foreign language program, which is taught only in K-6 in the Brattleboro schools currently, and the outcome in student success. But everyone can acknowledge that many factors play into the equation. Everyone has opinions as to which test really shows results. Everyone has opinions as to their definition of success and how to reach it. But what is clear, many of our parents, taxpayers, staff, and administrators want various programs that can only be afforded under a consolidated system. Some schools, like Academy and Oak Grove in Brattleboro, have implemented specific programs. We have after-school tutoring, summer schools, and behaviorists who work in conjunction with behavioral modification programs. And these schools have won state and national acclaim for their achievements and improvements.
Slow down. Take more time. This is something we hear from people who are rightfully concerned about the changes under consideration. The study committee has been steadily meeting since forming in fall of 2015 and have met as a full committee around 40 times. We've each had countless additional meetings with community members, our respective school boards, legal counsel, and representatives from the Agency of Education. Nothing about our process has been rushed or lacked depth. While WSESU administrators have worked closely alongside us, offering support and information, We have been working independent of them to make the really hard decisions.
People have said consolidation is forever, and there is no exit plan. That is not true. Vernon is a perfect example. Vernon has been in a consolidation or unified high school system for more than 50 years. They respectfully asked to leave, and we all voted on their request. If the town wishes to leave after merging, the same process could be utilized.
People have said, our teachers will be sent off to another school. That's not true. In the Brattleboro Town School District, for example, we have 3 elementary schools, which brings us a total of 6 teachers per grade. Technically, those teachers could already be shifted around in this fashion now, but that doesn't happen. Instead, teachers apply for the new position that they want if it's in a different school.
People have said they just want to close our schools. Again, this is not true. It's clear that local schools, even if they are small, are fundamental parts of their communities. The merger can help make small schools more cost-effective, too. Our Act 46 study committee has specifically written that, quote, no schools can be closed in the first 5 years of the unified district, end quote, and included that as part of the merger agreement. But even after that, in order to close any school, the study committee has insisted that the articles include some key points to review before a school could be closed. It's a lengthy process, including town input and considerations of how the town would be affected. The town's input is specifically part of the process. The decision requires an affirmative vote of 7 out of the 9 unified board members to close any school.
People have said property values will go down if there's a merger. Good schools are an important part of property values. Ensuring equity and quality among all the schools in our unified district will mean increased property values for all. The study committee knows that if property values keep increasing, homeowners with small children will not be able to afford living in our towns, which will lower enrollment and increase educational costs. We are seeing this already.
Some people have said there's no evidence that merging will improve equity for the children living in poverty. Our reviews of school outcomes show a direct correlation between opportunities for the children in poverty and the results we get for the children in poverty. The Act 46 Study Committee feels that it's fair for all of our children to have these programs, and under the spending caps imposed by the Vermont state laws, the cost of these programs garner penalties. Under a unified system, the costs are spread out over a larger number of students, and spreading those costs out make all of these programs available to more students.
The realities of our school systems are changing. Embracing and adapting to change will open up opportunities to better serve the needs of our students and our communities. We've studied the past, considered the present, and to the very best of our ability, looked into the future. The fact is, our current system is not serving all of our kids equally, nor is it sustainable. We created a merger proposal that we think is the best option for our kids. We're proposing a unique system in which more people are involved in the decision-making process than we have right now. We hope this presentation has helped you understand how far we've come. Act 46 information is available on the WSESU website, and Act 46 Study Committee meetings are carried on Brattleboro Community TV, who we'd like to thank for being such a phenomenal community resource. Thank you very much.